Hello, everybody. It's me, MrGamingGuitarist, and welcome to Your Mind Goes Blank Episode 2. You know what time it is? This camera's not focusing. Why the fuck is it not? There we go. It's time to start the opening title theme. So, welcome back to Your Mind Goes Blank, Episode 2. And of course, if this is your first time watching and you didn't get to watch the series premiere, this is a show where I simply hit record and talk about anything that's on my mind, and then I hit the stop button, and then I toss it into Adobe Premiere, and then I upload it. And that's what this episode is. So that's what every episode is. And the point of this show, and the reason why it's called Your Mind Goes Blank, is because I want it to get to the point where I get so stupid, your mind will go blank from my idiocy. So anyways, what are we here to talk about? Well, one thing we can talk about is Injustice 2. The newest trailer for it just got released, and I was really happy with it. It looks like it might be continuing the stuff we saw from Injustice 1, where it showed Superman in chains, sort of like the ending of the first game, and in the trailer. Oh, and by the way, the trailer is called The Lines Are Redrawn, or something like that. You can watch that trailer, because I'll talk about it for a little bit if you don't want to get spoiled on what happens in there. But so I'll let you pause. So go ahead and pause that. Pause this video. Watch that new Injustice 2 trailer. Then come back here. Okay? Alright, I'll wait here for you. Are you still here? Okay, then that means you watched it. So the one thing that's interesting is we got to see Superman and Supergirl team up, and it looks like Batman and Wonder Woman are on the team fighting them. So for some reason, somehow, it still looks like Superman is still fighting Batman, and I don't exactly understand how that is. I don't know if this is going to be separate from the comics, or if they're going to take the things that happen in the comics, in the Injustice comics since the first game, if they're going to continue that. I've got no idea, but all I can tell you is that I'm excited as shit for it. And of course, they've got some characters for it. They revealed Robin and Poison Ivy and Brainiac. And the bullshit part is, it's not bullshit that Darkseid is in it. Of course, I'm excited to see Darkseid in the game, but you have to pre-order in order to play it. So it's like they're pulling another Goro again, like what they did with Mortal Kombat X. I am so sick of the trend that you have all these fucking pre-order bonuses. It is just, it's a terrible, awful business practice, and I wish all these... I could have sworn it felt like a fly was about to enter my ear. Oh man. Anyways. So, shit, that got me off track. I was talking about Injustice 2. Oh yeah, so with Injustice 2, I am god-awful at fighting games. And it's funny because when I was a kid playing fighting games, the first fighting game I really got into was Soul Calibur 2. And I got the GameCube version. That's when they had all the guest characters. GameCube version had Link, the PS2 version had Heihachi, and the Xbox version got Spawn. And I was really happy with Soul Calibur 2. I played it for hours, but it wasn't until I played, and I thought, you know, I can I thought, yeah, I'm good at fighting games. I can play them. But it wasn't until I played online for the first time I ever played any fighting game online, it was the original Injustice. And what happened with that was I very quickly realized, no, I am not good at fighting games. And it's because the people that play fighting games, and this is the reason why I avoid playing online, everyone is so much better than me that I can't even comprehend what's going on or how to defend myself in the game. And by the point I try to think about what to do, I'm already fucking dead. And that's why I hate playing games online, because all it does is just frustrate me, and then it just makes me and when I try to take my time, it's like I can't. Everyone else is thinking at a much higher level than I am in fighting games online, that it's like, oh, I can't fucking handle this shit. No. And that's why I just stick. That's because before, the only times I could ever play any game I never played online. I never played games online until I got the Xbox 360 Slim version in 2011. And that was, the one that I believe they had an Alan Wake bundle with that when it first came out. Yeah, I just am god-awful at fighting games, and that's why I choose to play only on arcade mode or play the story. And that's one thing I really want to congratulate NetherRealm in, is that, yeah, man, feels like I'm getting hiccups, but they don't come out. The one thing that I really want to congratulate NetherRealm for is that they made story matter in fighting game. Like, the Mortal Kombat 9 story was just incredible. The Mortal Kombat X story, it was good, but not as great as MK9 was. But the first Injustice story in that original game, that story just fucking knocked me off my feet. I loved it. It felt like I was watching a Justice League movie, and that's precisely why I enjoyed it. And I've got a feeling that this Injustice 2 story will be just as good, if not better. And so, yeah. So lots of people still think that, Injustice is favoring Batman because there's too many Batman characters in it. And I can understand the hate behind it. And I really want to see, like, some of the other characters from the DC universe. Like, I'd really like to see how they would handle the Atom or Booster Gold, because they've already got Blue Beetle, so why not add Booster Gold to that? Or what if they add Swamp Thing or Beast Boy, or who else? Or if they could add, Zoom or Reverse Flash, just to name a few others. Or if they, if Black Canary could be in it, I think that would be pretty cool. Because yeah, I'd really like to see a much more broader spectrum of the DC universe, but we all know that's not going to happen because, of course, Batman is my favorite comic book character of all time, but that doesn't mean I want Batman and his friends to take all the spotlight from everything. So that's Injustice 2. So I also recently started to rewatch Twin Peaks again because my mom hasn't seen it yet, so I'm rewatching it with her. And goddamn, that show is so good. It's like, I know I talked about it yesterday, but really, please, you owe it to yourself to sorry. You owe it to yourself if you haven't seen Twin Peaks. It is some of the greatest television you'll ever watch. And they just recently released a new teaser showing Kyle MacLachlan returning as FBI Special Agent Dale Cooper in it. I really enjoyed it. That teaser, it was very quick. It's just him walking, looking directly at the camera. That was it. And it showed David Lynch eating a donut before, so it's like he's reprising his character from Twin Peaks as well. Anyways, I really love, I can't, there is not enough time in the world to talk about why I love Twin Peaks so much and why I think it's so special, and it just feels so magical whenever I watch it. So yeah, it's on Netflix and it's on Showtime. If you subscribe to Showtime, to their streaming service, you can watch it on there as well. And it's also on Showtime anytime, because of course it's all going to be on Showtime, this Twin Peaks revival. And I've got a feeling that, some people think that revived TV shows, they usually aren't that great. Like whenever they, I remember, I think, it was 24, Live Another Day. I really enjoyed that. I really also, some people thought that the X-Files, at first when the X-Files came back, there was nothing but absolute praise for it. But then when it came back, as it went on, there's people, I heard nothing but negative things. And I've never seen a single episode of the X-Files. I know it's sacrilegious for me to say that, but the shows I have never really sat down to watch are Game of Thrones, The Walking Dead, and the X-Files. I haven't seen. Man, I'm so sorry. I haven't seen any of those shows really. And I know I have to get around to it, but with me, like, this is pretty much what a day in the life of Mr. Game Guitarist is like. I walk up, I sit down here, I watch YouTube videos, and I watch some stuff on Netflix, and then I'll make my videos, and then I go to bed. Repeat on an infinite loop nonstop. And then, of course, on Saturdays, that's when I make the N4G TV podcast. So, by the way, if you did not watch the N4G TV podcast, on the most recent episode, we had Anita Starr on there, and we talked about the N4G TV. We talked about the Nintendo Switch presentation. And speaking of podcasts, I was a guest on See Here's the Thing. It's a great podcast. You have to watch it. It was a very fun show to be on, and I was so happy and delighted that they had me on, and I had an amazing time. And you can watch that episode, or listen rather. It's on iTunes, so just look for C. It's spelled C, S-E-E, comma, Here's the Thing. That's where you can find it. It's on iTunes. And there's this other podcasting service. I forget what it's called. I don't know why I keep yawning, because I don't think I'm tired, but this yawning keeps proving that to me otherwise. But anyways, so yeah, I also really enjoy finding new people to talk to. That's one of my greatest joys in life, is just nothing makes me happier than securing a new guest for my podcast. Because, there's lots of times when I'm a little behind the scenes action with MGG here, but there's lots of times where whenever you listen to a podcast, it takes a lot of effort to bring it all together. And there's times when I talk to someone or a guest and they say, "Oh yeah, I'll be there on your podcast on that day," and then they just never show up. And that is one of the rudest things and one of the most unprofessional things you could ever do, is say, "Hey, I'll be your guest. I'll show up at this time." And then and the worst part, and I would be okay if they said on the day of recording, or a few hours or the day before, if they say, hey, I can't make it, it's okay, because you let me know in advance. But when I'm expecting you to be there, and then you don't fucking show up, that is just fucking rude and disrespectful, and the silence speaks volumes. I can't fucking stand it. And the bad part is that happens to me, that happens to me, I'd say 70% of the time. So the guests that I have had on, and the ones that continue to come back, are people that I can rely on, people that I trust, that I know that they won't pull a stunt like that. So yeah, and if you are starting a podcast of your own, all I can tell you is be very patient, and I had to learn that the hard way, because hosting a podcast is not an easy job, and you have to do it because it's what you really want to do. And I love doing the N4G TV podcast. It is one of my best joys in life, because all I ever wanted was because it reminds me of G4, when they have roundtable discussions and they talk about the entertainment news and movies, video games, comics, and TV, where we talk about all that stuff that happened throughout the week. I just love doing that. That's my passion. And, hopefully watching these videos can explore that for you guys. But I just really, that's the one thing that I love to do. Yeah, so I've been wanting to try to get more and more new people, but I've been afraid to ask some people, because when they look at me and they say, oh, this person at the time we're recording has only 601 subscribers, what the fuck is why would I ever want to collab with someone with that few views or that few subscribers? I have to be honest, that I think about that a lot, why I'm not growing. I think I said this often, but it's something that brings a lot of anxiety to me. The fact that I'm growing at a slower pace, but because most people on YouTube, they're like, oh yeah, I just started my channel, and yeah, I got about 1,000 subscribers in a month, and yet I've had this particular channel of mine for 6 years, and I only just got to 600. So thank you to all 601 subscribers of mine. I truly appreciate it. But yeah, please spread the word about these videos and my channel if you enjoy my content. I would really appreciate it, because one goal that I want to try to aim for is I want to get to minimum 1,000 subscribers this year. I want that to happen, and the one way that I know in order to put myself out there is just, you can't stop. You have to just continue making videos every day. And some people might say, oh, Mr. Gaming Guitarist, you're a broken record. You've been saying that over lots of your past few videos. But I sincerely mean that. If you are serious about wanting to have a YouTube channel, you have to remain consistent, and one of my New Year's resolutions is to be more consistent on YouTube. Like, if you've noticed, I've been releasing videos more often than I have in the past, because before I used to just post randomly. I would only post like reaction videos for the longest time, where I would just put out whenever there's a new trailer, I would just put out that one whenever that particular trailer came out that I was interested in, and I didn't have a complete exact schedule. So that's what so like I said in my channel vlog update, my plan is to do this show, Your Mind Goes Blank, every Wednesday and every Tuesday, which I'm filming this on Tuesday, but this will go up on Wednesday. On Tuesday, I don't know if it's going to be successful or not, but I never know unless I try. I want to try doing a YouNow live stream, and you can find me there at younow.com/gamingguitarist. that's where you'll be able to find me on there. So yeah, please go ahead and check that stuff out. So anything else that's on my mind that I want to talk about? Well, I really enjoyed, I guess you could say I'm a person that talks a lot, but also has social anxiety, if that makes any goddamn sense to you. Because to me, it's like I barely leave my house. I mean, I'm sure you can tell by how fucking awful I look, and how, and you know, sometimes how I struggle to come up with words like during moments like this. It's you know, I'm not a very social person, but when I meet someone that I can talk to and we get along, I'm fine. But the thing about me, you know, if you want to delve into the brain of Mr. Gaming Guitarist, I hated high school. I did. I hated school in general. And you know, I was a good student. You know, I never got into trouble. All I wanted to do when I was in high school is I just wanted to do my work, turn it in, and just get back home. That's all I cared about. And so it's like whenever I saw people that wanted to do after school activities and things like that, you know, it just made me say, why would you want to stay in school longer than you have to? That was my thought process. And you know, and of course I realize every single person is different. Not everybody is going to be exactly the same. Not everybody is going to have the same thoughts, of course, because we are humans. We all think differently, but that's how I thought. And you know, it's not really reflecting back upon it until I'm older and wiser, as wise as a 22-year-old can get. It wasn't until now when I realized just how much I isolate myself on purpose. There were times before when I was in school, when I would see some classmate at a store or a restaurant, any kind of place, and they would say hi, and I would ignore them. And it's not like I'm trying to be a dick on purpose, even though that's what it felt like, even though that's what it would have appeared like on the outside. I was just really shy back then, and I just always kept to myself. But it's funny because I found like I couldn't really relate to people that were exactly my age. I always related to people that were 5 years older than me or older at the time, because it's hard for me to associate myself with my generation. Like, because when I think of millennials, all I think of are, and I know this is generalizing, but you know, this is my show where I get to express my thoughts. So when I hear someone call someone else a millennial, the image that sparks in my mind is somewhat. I'm recording. The image that sparks in my mind is someone with those goddamn shaved sides. Which, if it works, if you're okay with that kind of haircut, to each their own. I can't fucking stand the way it looks. Sorry if that's what your haircut looks like. And the top knot, I mean, this is why I only do a basic ponytail. I hate the way the fucking top knot looks, and it just makes me think of millennials. And that's why it feels like I'm an old man trapped in a 22-year-old's body, because I usually don't identify with the stereotypes or the tropes that are associated with the people of my age. Like, you know, I see stupid stuff on Vine, and most of the stuff, most of that stuff doesn't make me laugh. It just makes me think, kids these days. Even though I am one of the kids these days, it's still just, I'm just stupid. But anyways, like, meme culture, I don't get it. Whenever, I fucking hate, though, that one meme that goes around where they zoom in and distort the image and they play this blaring fucking music. You might be familiar with it, but you know, where they just distort everything and make it sound louder. I can't stand that shit. And you know, maybe that's why I don't have a lot of friends in real life. You know, most of the people I talk to these days that are around my age, my generation, it's, you know, my friends that I talk to on Skype. Or, you know, the people that I talk to on my podcast. You know, people like Edward and Ray and, you know, people like Edward, Ray, Zach, Mo, Christopher, Kaylee, and the big giant list of others that are too long to mention. You know, it's like I can get along with them because, you know, we generally share the same, we have the same interests. And I know that comics and movies and TV and video games, it's a broad spectrum, and there are so many people that have those interests, but it's hard for me to find people with those interests outside, and maybe that's because I'm not putting enough of an effort of trying to be more social in my life. And to tell you the truth, it's because I have lots of social anxiety. And you know I'm not alone. I know I'm not alone with having social anxiety, but it feels like I'm alone in that way of being socially anxious. When I'm outside, I see big groups of people having fun, and it makes me think, you know, I wish I could be having that fun with them, but I get worried, I get paranoid, and because it's like, I know when I'm here in this house, this exact same house I've been living in since 2005, since I was 11 years old, it makes me, I know I'm safe here where I am. I know this is going to sound ridiculous. I mean, fuck, I am a ridiculous person, but whenever you're outside, when I know that there's a risk, if I go out with someone that I just met, what if this person ends up being a kidnapper? Or what if they try to rob me? What if, you know, I'm fucking crazy, I know that, but I wanted to establish this show to express my thoughts, and, you know, to delve a bit deeper inside my brain so that you can get to know me better, and maybe it paints me in a negative light. I don't know. But what I do know is talking to you guys about what's going on in my head, it's very cathartic for me. It's therapeutic to be able to get all out of this stuff off my chest and into this camera right here. That's so yeah, I mean, I hope I didn't bum you guys out, but you know, I want to be able to talk to you guys about what's going on, and that's exactly what my resolution was to be able to talk about how I feel, and to be more open with my audience. So anyways, I think I'm gonna wrap it up for now. So if you like this video, please give it a like. please subscribe to the channel if you're new. And you can watch the N4G TV podcast on the N4G TV YouTube channel. And thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.